All right, guys, quick video doing the valve cover gaskets on a 06 Volkswagen Touaregs. It's the 3.6 liter V6. So it's a bit of a pain to pull the whole air intake manifold off to get to the valve cover gasket, or the valve cover rather. So the valve cover sits right here. The intake manifold goes over the top. You have to take all these bolts off here. There's more of an explanation, obviously, because I've already got it off. But these are M10s, triple square 10s, I think. And that's a majority of what these bolts are. There's here, one down here. You don't have to take the fuel rail off. You can actually just pull the intake manifold off with just disconnecting. There's one fuel rail back behind here. I don't even know if we're going to be able to see it. So if you can see that little knob right there, that's the one fuel nut that you have to loosen up, and you can keep the whole fuel rail on the air intake manifold when you pull it out. So aside from that, there's going to be a lot of wiggling to get it out of here. Yeah, I mean, it's pretty much it. It's easy to say it's pretty much it, but it's a pain to do. Take all the vacuum lines off this side and take all the coil packs out with the spark plugs is probably the easiest way, or not the spark plugs, with the plugs here. If you want to pull the plugs first and then go back and pull the intake manifold off and then get a better grip on the coil packs to pull them out, you can do that. That's what I did with some of them. So, and all these bolts are just 10 millimeters that hold the valve cover on. So M10 triple squares, 10 millimeter bolts, and then there's a couple of T25 screws here and there that hold different things on. There's something here. Well, I'll show you. You got to take the throttle body off the back. There's a little vacuum hose back there too. So I'll show you. So these are the parts that I pulled off here en route. This is all on the left-hand side. Tubes, the airbox, throttle body. This is a vacuum hose that sits kind of right above the throttle body. Both of these little screws here are T25s. So they look like this. All the little ones you have to get out look like this. T25. M10 to get out the big ones. Let's see. And that's that for that. Take off the cover. And this is on the right hand side. That's just the two. I think those are T25s too. And let's go back here to look at what we got off. So that's the intake manifold there. The purpose, or the valve cover gasket. Intake manifold's here. You can see the fuel rail that's still on here, and then the one hose that comes up that I showed you where that little screw comes out. There's a vacuum line that stays on there. It's real brittle, so just be careful. And you can see here's the vacuum lines that you pull off on the passenger side. Another M10 bolt. So, and then there's a few of the little T25s that hold this bracket up that's still in the engine bay. You have to loosen that up to get in, to push down to get into some of these. The last bolt, I think, is like the most hidden one, which is closest to the firewall on the driver's side. So anyway, the reason why I took off the valve cover gasket in the first place was because a common issue is the membrane in the PVC valve ends up with cracks in it, and air gets in, and it'll throw an engine light, and it'll cause rough idle. So I just pulled the whole thing off, cleaned it out, The gasket here was leaking a little bit too, so I'm just redoing the whole thing. So got the membrane, and there's a tiny little gasket that goes in here, off Amazon or something for nothing. I don't know, 15 bucks. Pulled this apart, bit of a pain. 5 Phillips head screws on this one here. Pull it out. It's tough to pull out because there's the gasket that's right here really grips onto it. So you have to pry and be patient, and it's plastic. So yeah, that's about it. And then there's a cap in there that comes off. I used a pocket knife to just edge off the sides of the cap. Sorry that I already put it back together, but that's how that works. Hopefully that's helpful. I'm going to replace these gaskets here and start the reassembly process, which is always a little bit easier because you know, hopefully you remember where everything came from. All right, that's it. So that's intake manifold, valve cover, replacing the gaskets, PVC valve, taking the fuel line off. This is just the easiest way to do it. It's still a bit of a pain, but it's easy enough. So I hope that's helpful. Yeah, and that's about it. I hope that's helpful for someone out there. All right, have a great day.